You want to know why your 3D is vomiting on you? It is because when you begin to tell a new story in the brain, a story that is incredibly positive actually, and this is where the toxic positivity movement, I believe, came from. It's actually a form of cognitive dissonance. So let me paint a picture for you. Let's say there's a version of you that's making 10K months. There's a version of you who is attracting non-committal men, right? And then you begin to tell yourself, no, I'm loved. No, I'm abundant. No, I'm making 50K months. You're beginning to tell yourself all these positive things, right? But that actually is what ignites your brain to begin to fight for the survival of the old story. So your brain will then begin to tell you, what about that time Stacy left you? What about that time that Spencer cheated on you with the next door neighbor's cat? What about that client that said they were going to sign up, but then said they couldn't afford your new rates? Your brain actually presents more resistance when you double down on this new positive story of yours. And it's actually because, if you want to see it this way, the inner child inside of you is afraid. You have not spent enough time making this new positive identity normal, natural, familiar. You haven't breathed into the uncomfortable parts of it when you're actually thinking positive, and it causes a visceral reaction in the body. Because think about it, it's not actually toxic to think positive. Like, we should want to think good things about ourselves. But it's actually because you've programmed yourself to self-deprecation. You've programmed yourself to low self-worth. You've programmed yourself to be able to work for the approval of your audience, to prove yourself within sales, within career, within your business. That thinking positively is actually a distorted perception for you because you don't see yourself that way. You don't see yourself as accomplished. You don't see yourself as successful. Every time you hit a new milestone in your business or in your career, you're immediately kind of like celebrating it for 4 seconds and then setting another goal so that you can work to prove yourself all over again. You're addicted to needing some kind of external validation and external proof in order to give yourself the validation that can only really come from you. And do you notice how no matter how many times other people will try to give you the validation, it doesn't land, it doesn't hit? That's because that hole is meant for you to fill, not for someone else to fill, not for an award to fill, not for sales to fill, not for money to fill, not for a man or woman to fill. And that's why so many people, when they do this work, they actually backslide back because they're so codependent on needing the approval. And that's why your results aren't 10 times farther ahead. However, when you begin to reprogram the mind, body, and nervous system to get fully on board with the desire, that's when it comes in. How we do this in personal coaching. Because your subconscious patterns, traumas are different from person to person. How you got hurt is different than how someone else got hurt. How someone else is stuck is different than how you got stuck. But if you want to learn how to shift the whole thing and get what you want, the link's in the bio.